Always one of the most eagerly anticipated weekends of the entire year. It is, of course, Europe's premier middle distance race, the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe, highlight of a brilliant weekend of action over at Longchamps, complemented by some cracking racing at Ascot, Group 1 at Newmarket, and the big two-year-old trophy at Redcar. It is a fantastic weekend racing. Jason and Frankie join us as ever. Jason, bit of best of both worlds from home and over the channel this weekend.
I think that we get into that rhythm and we have so much racing and we sometimes forget the amount of work that goes in. We only get to see the final minute and a half, 2 minutes. But all that preparation that has gone on building to what is a fantastic weekend. And we gave them a little bit of a whooping over in France last year, didn't we? I think it was about 8-3 was the number. So the home side will be wanting to fight back. But our boys go over there in tip-top form. Oisin Murphy could win on absolutely anything at the moment, couldn't he? He's red hot. We're missing Ryan. Sumion comes in for a lot. Tom Marquand's got some good rides. It's a cracking weekend. There's a lot of work gone in.
Yeah, maybe we could have a Parisian Cup, like the Presby Cup they have at Cheltenham. And Frankie,
That'd be good. We might win that one.
something we might win, yeah. Obviously, the Japanese, they're desperate to win it. 3 chances this year as well. Obviously, we're all focusing on the Arc, but it is another cracking weekend's racing.
It is, yeah. You mentioned the Japanese, Matt. It was my first trip over to the Arc last year, and that storyline is so prominent in everyone's mind, in all of the press, in all of the sort of feel of the weekend, in the way that the Japanese runners have heightened attention on them, because you kind of, even as an English racer or any racing fan around the world, you are willing them to do it because you know that it would be such a moment, and if you were there at the time, then it would be great to see. And Jace mentioned Oisin Murphy. Byzantine Dream is well within his chance if he gets the run of the green, and weather-wise, I suppose the Arc has a habit, and maybe why they haven't had so much luck in the race, the Japanese, of being soft ground, and it might not actually be too bad come Sunday. So yeah, it's exciting. We say it every year, but it could be one for the Japs. And as you mentioned, great racing all over. I remember this time last weekend, I think it was Colin Keane got his first Group 1 in England in the Sun Chariot. Kieran Schumacher had a great end to the year for the Gosdens over in France. There's a lot to look at, and Saturday and Sunday is action-packed, really. Not forgetting Ascot as well, great racing there. So it's a proper one, isn't it? We say it all the time, but this I really enjoy this one. It's a great weekend.
Yeah, no, it's a fantastic weekend. Don't forget, please like, subscribe, and you get to join us, of course, every Punters Guide, and we'll let you know when there is a new episode out. And we're going to start with it. All right, it's Sunday, but it is the big race. We'll come back to Saturday's fair shortly. We're going to start with it. It is the Europe's Premier Middle Distance contest, as I said at the beginning of the show. 3 entries for the Japanese. 2 of them not been drawn ideally, Jason. The draw has an effect. The weather has an effect, and we're still kind of in the lap of the gods about what's going to fall at Longchamp this weekend. But even so, it's a fascinating contest. And we haven't, it'll be harsh to say, we haven't really got that standout candidate this year, although it could be, obviously, the filly of Aidan O'Brien's.
Listen, we haven't. There's not like we're not going in there going this 4. That's a superstar. That's a superstar. Like all the way through. We haven't got that sort of race, which makes it intriguing. When you talk about the Japanese runners, why is Aloha Ali as big a price as he is after absolutely dotting up last time? Look, I know it was a canter round in front, but it absolutely bolting. Who have they got on board? Christophe Lemaire. Right, he knows exactly what's required to go around that particular ballpark. I think he's a major player for the Japanese, probably their strongest, I think, anyway. And of course, his dam is by Orfevre. We all love a little bit of a viral clip when the boys were cheering it home and then it all went wrong in the final 50 yards. It was so funny, wasn't it? I mean, not a Schadenfreude moment at all. We wanted them to win, but it was just very funny.
I am massively on the same page with you. I was so taken with his win at Deauville. It was quickened off the front, battered Qualifica. Of course, his form ties in, and obviously in here as well. His form ties in. He's been training in deep ground. He said he might prefer a little bit of cut as well, so he won't mind if the rain falls. Perfect draw as well. All right, he might not be able to go out and make it all the way like he did at Deauville. I agree. I was so impressed with that. And immediately I said, he's a player in the Arc.
Isn't that the hardest thing that was we sit here now, boys, isn't it? You know, like we're trying to predict how much rain is going to fall, right? And if you're with the Kalpana camp, they say the monsoon is coming. And you're with the Giavolotto camp, they say they're not getting anything, right? So we just really, and I mean, he's a ridiculous price, isn't he? At 40 to
He
1.
is, yeah. I
And
thought it
hey,
was
when you look at them, Frankie, I remember when Philip Robinson, this is how old I am, when Philip Robinson won on Holding Court around there, they were giving the ground as soft. It was like a road. Honestly, it
really.
was so fast. I mean, the descriptions, if we think they're bad over here, trust me, you got another thing coming. So what is it like? It's green. Go, you race. It's the same for all of them. That's it.
It is, and do you know what? It's been a bit bone of contention all week. Beginning of the week, it looked dry and maximum of 4 mil. Then it changed to potentially 10 on Saturday. We just don't know, Frankie. That is a problem. So you want to basically something they'll handle all. I think Aloe Ali will handle anything, and I think he's a massive player. I totally agree with Jason, and he is a huge price for me. And it could be finally the Japanese year. But what do you think will win the Arc?
Yeah, I think you got to have a few on your radar, haven't you, Matt? Maybe if you're really taken with one
There's a
at this
surprise.
stage. Well, if you really want to back one now, and you think the ground is going to swing, the odds in the favour of your horse, then it might be worth having a bet now, because the horses' prices can shorten because of the weather. On the flip side, you could just have a couple that you wait and see, and then Sunday morning, I'll get out there with my going stick. I'll report back to base lads, and then we can have a bet then. I think the point that you made about there not being a superstar kind of has to prick your ears about having Shaw second in the race last year a little bit. I know that last year's race, we did kind of have the same feeling going into the race, but she ran a massive race behind Blue Stocking and deserves her position towards the top of the market. And it's funny, maybe we're all buying into the Japanese dream, but I mentioned Byzantine Dream. Won over track and trip, had a couple of nice horses, including Sozi behind him, who was fourth in the race last year. Los Angeles, I know he's not a winner, but he's always a tough horse that'd be there or thereabouts. That's the perfect prep, I think. Obviously, again, wouldn't want loads of rain on Saturday. Did it on good to soft last time, but predominantly raced on good to firm in Japan. If it's not terrible Saturday, and Ashim Murphy riding out of his skin, I'd really be with Byzantine Dream myself. And yeah, the fillies at the top of the market, I guess, deserve to be there. But
Oh,
we're
lads, we're
dreaming
making
of
it
the
so
Japanese art.
complicated, aren't we? We're
We're
making it
dreaming of
so
the Japanese
complicated.
art.
Well, should we all just be sitting here going, Minnie Hawk's going to come round? They're going to have to put a net up at the end of Longchamp to slow her down once Sumion gives her a kick up the belly. She might just go and
Sumion,
win on the bridle.
Sumion, Aidan O'Brien, Coolmore, improving filly, will
Oh,
love a bit of soft ground, loves the distance. Job done.
it is, isn't it? It could so easily be. What a race.
Yeah, no, it's a great race, great race. Maybe I'm being brought into the Japanese story, but I'd love to see it. I think it'd be epic, wouldn't it?
I'm confused as hell. What did you go for?
Byzantine Dream.
I went
It's
for
my
Mini
selection.
Mini Hawk as my saver, Giavolotto and Alioli, Olive Ali or whatever it's called, and that. So
Yeah,
covered everywhere. It's going to cost me a fortune if either of them don't come in.
yeah. It'd be some trifecta perm as well that you'll be having. Right, yeah, cannot wait. It's a brilliant race. The Pilots. I agree with Jason. I think Aloe Ali, he's been on my radar ever since that Dover, and I think he's a monstrous price. Perfectly birthed as well in 4. Right, let's get on stuck into Saturday's action then. We'll start at Ascot then with this 115, a 7 furlong fillies and mares contest. Good field here, 16 fillies lining up, Jace.
Yep, decent enough contest. Everybody's looking around for this weekend. Carl Burke, he's got to have another fantastic weekend, I'm sure, with a whole boatload of runners. Bright Thunder off the back of a really good run. The one that sort of stuck out for me in here was Miss Nightfall. Now, James Fanshawe, we know how particularly patient he is with his runners. Got a decent ride off Safi Osborne last time. Dropped in at Donny because she can race a little bit keen. Managed to get her to switch off and actually finish through the race quite well. So it was an educational run as well as a good one. And it was a career best. So she's still climbing the right way. And I just think Miss Nightfall's probably got a little bit more to offer. It's a trappy sort of race though, isn't it? 7 furlongs. Going to be soft ground, Fanshawe, Ascot, lots of things in its favour.
Yeah, it's trappy, a real trappy opener, Frankie.
It is, and not to keep banging on about the weather, but I know it's going to rain at Ascot today, but I'm hoping for not too much because Flight wouldn't want soft ground. I think that's the reason she ran poorly last time out. And I know you can't cling on to a second in the Betfred 1000 for the entire season, but just by chance, I've ended up speaking to Ollie Sangster prior to a couple of her races, and he really is retaining the faith in her. And I just wonder, prior to Sandown, her last two starts at Ascot and at the Curragh were both in red hot Group 1s. If the ground was the excuse last time out when it was soft, and now she drops into a much weaker race and it's not too bad ground, do feel like she can run a big race. So I'm sticking with Flight. Probably one last time, but this is easier than what she's been running in, provided it's not too wet.
Well, we know what's going to happen. Jamie Spencer on the straight course at Ascot. We know where she's going to be.
Thing of beauty.
Right, let's move on to the sprint, the Roost Stakes then. A listed contest over the Fly-In 5, Jace. Again, another competitive contest here.
Yeah, look, the Silver Cup winner in here, Chagrin's been running well. Kurdos, I mean, I've put him in the too difficult tray now because he seems to have forgot that winning habit, doesn't he? You know, he's much better than a listed runner, but he's quite happy to run in the pack. He's gone back to years ago when they were in the wild, and you know, you had the mare up the front, the stallion at the back protecting, and he's quite happy to be in mid division and not go either way. He just stays in the middle. Wolverhampton mightily disappointed last time. That was an awful run from her up at Haydock. Never involved. And then you got Elegant Rain, who's on a bit of a roll, but stepping up in grade. Boring, Beautiful Diamond, Clifford Lee. No reason why coming back down half a furlong won't suit her. She's absolutely blessed with a load of natural boot, drawn up against the stand side as well. Beautiful Diamond, straightforward.
Okay, Beautiful Diamond then for Carl Burke. Could be a good day for him. Frankie, what wins the Roost Stakes?
I like Cover Up here. On his penultimate start, won over Track and Trip after not putting in a decent showing over 6 at the Royal Meeting, and then went on to finish 4th at Newbury in that Group 3 that Chagrin was 2nd or 3rd in off the back of his victory in the Beverley Bullet. So I think that's a good sort of form line to follow. A sprinter in form is worth following, and Cover Up's jumped out of handicap form at Ascot into a Group 3 against a couple of other sprinters that are running well and has shown a bold showing. So back to a track he runs well at. I'd say could get on the board in a listed races. Not out of his reach by any means.
Yeah, Paul Mulrennan's got form over 5 films at Ascot this year. An interesting booking for the Crisford team. Right, Jason, the Cumberland Lodge. 5 go. Let's not beat about the bush. Which William Haggis one a year back in?
Oh no, and it's one of them. How much rain? Hamish probably wins if it's absolutely bottomless because we know he's a tractor. But they put the safety net in. They've got 10 ability in there just in case the rain doesn't arrive, and then they'll have one runner. Al Kareem, I mean, how on earth did he manage to finish 3rd last time when getting hooked up in a ridiculous battle up on the front end last time? It was crazy, wasn't it? They went so fast. Over in Ireland, and he still managed to hold on for 3rd spot. So, look, he won it last year. Berkey's in red hot form. I just think that Al Kareem could be the answer. And it's one of them, isn't it? It's a weather watch. If it turns out that you need the tractor, maybe you'll have to look at Hamish.
Okie dokie. Yeah, could be a good day for Carl Burke. It's getting better, Frankie.
Yeah, it is. I'm all over Al Kareem as well. Last year's winner has been in good form behind some really smart horses this season. He hasn't just, but not to disrespect Hamish. I mean, what is he, an 8-time group winner or something ridiculous like that? But Al Kareem hasn't just ran in these, listed Group 3 contests. He's ran behind the likes of Trawlerman and was it York? Is it Absurd? He ran behind it. He's ran behind proper sort of Group 1 horses as well as being able to win races like this. So, yeah, I think this is his race. I think it's a great price. Pray for not quite as much rain as could happen for Carl Burke.
Okay, then. Right, let's move on to the Ben Goff Stakes. And you've shunned Mr. Haggis the 225. You're going to repair the damage, Jace? He's got 2 in the Ben Goff as well.
Now, listen, you can't just. I'm not rowing in with him all the time, but you watch. He'll have winners left, right, and centre on the weekend, won't he? You know that as well.
Well, he paid up member of the fan club.
What is it? Elmon Jed and Prince of India. They were in the race where the boys fell, weren't they? And I've had a couple of WhatsApps from Trevor who's shown me the amount of damage to his 2 ankles. absolutely ridiculous. Got more screws and plates in there than I know what. And Jim Crowley says that he's on the mend as well. When he got screwed in the pelvis, one of them, excuse me, one of them was wrong. They had to go back in, take it back out, and screw it back in again or whatever. Anyway, he's finally got himself back home. Whether that form will hold up, I don't know. What about the filly down the bottom, Celandine? Rocket juvenile. I thought she ran exceptionally well 2 starts back. And the problem with the run, she was only beaten 4.5 lengths in the Nunthorpe last time. She was drawn in 16. All of the action was over towards that far side rail at York. And she ran really well. She was staying on at the death. Up to 6 furlongs. Teamer in fantastic form, Ed Walker. I think she's been overlooked. Kieran Schumacher, Celandine.
Interesting. I just want to mention as well, just wish both Trevor and Jim obviously all the best from that horrendous incident. I mean, it was, what was it, 4 weeks ago now, and good to hear that they're both on the mend, and it was absolutely horrendous. So fingers crossed for both of them. Celandine then for Jace. What about you, Frankie?
Last year's winner again for me, Apollo 1. Runs his race in plenty of big handicaps, including only 3 and a bit lengths, 7th in the Wokingham.
That's one of his ankles, lads.
Carrying a...
Oh, my God.
Not great.
Oh, God. That
Not
is
great,
brutal,
but luckily, they were both jump jockeys.
Yes, there's surprised they weren't out riding out the next day.
Yeah, exactly.
It is. I just going back through the form for this race, I ended up watching that race at York again, and it does always puts it into perspective, doesn't it? You know better than us, Chase, obviously, but they were nasty falls at speed, weren't they? It does give you a reminder of what you're watching, because you can forget, can't you, sometimes that
You certainly can.
you're watching a race, but the lads on top and the girls on top. A lot of risk involved. So, we wish them well. Wish them both well. Apollo 1, my shout. Matt won the race last year. Ran well at the Royal Meeting in the Wokingham, carrying a fair bit of weight. He's actually ran well in loads of handicaps, carrying a lot of weight. So now that he doesn't have to give that weight away, and he's not up against really smart horses, in my opinion, I think he can run a big race.
Okie dokie, then Apollo 1, last year's winner. It could be a good day for Paul Mulrennan as well, of course. Yeah. Right, let's move on to the Challenge Cup. I'll tell you what, Jace, should we go and make a brew and let Frankie run through the Challenge Cup? Because he probably mentioned about 17.
He's going to have a few. He'll have a few. I'll have a few.
Go on, Frankie, take us to the Challenge Cup.
Where are we off to?
3:35.
I can't get us. I've missed us. Jace might have to take us away.
Okay. So
sorry. No. I've got plenty in here. Don't worry, boys. Got plenty for you.
He was teasing us, Jace. He was teasing us.
Hickory's an obvious one. Safi Osborne will be gutted to be on the sidelines for him to have another crack at Ascot. He's run well at the track all year. He actually set the track record in the Moe and Chandon earlier in the year. I think he's worth sticking with. He's only up £3 for winning last time out. I thought that was quite generous. So, a nice ride for Ed Greatrix to pick up. And then Acadian Thunder. He's had a terrible sort of run of things since finishing second to, was it More Thunder or Never So Brave?
Never So Brave.
Never So Brave. That's obviously fantastic form. And you'd hope that he can sort of re-find that fire, because he goes off the same mark of 95, and sometimes it does work like that. You just need you get out of bed on the right side and at the right track and conditions to fall. So they're my two, Matt. Two Ascot specialists. Yeah, just the two.
Wow, you have surprised.
And ain't no surprise. I've jumped on board Arcadian Thunder as well, and the main reason that Never So Brave run, who's now rated 117. I know they all improve at different rates, but it was a brilliant effort. There's no reason to think that he can't run well. He had an awful run at Newcastle last time, didn't he? He was sat last, waited for it to happen or open up for him on the fence, and it never did. He sort of came up there, finished on the bridle nearly. So look, all
Magic
right.
O'Mara.
Yeah, David O'Miracle. Yeah, he's there, isn't he, right? What a shame as well. That filly, after being drawn 17, she wasn't very well, so she's taken out. Oh, dear. Anyway, let's hope that the O'Miracle and Arcadian Thunder, who's drawn 16, one away from where she was, can get the job done anyway.
Yeah, a bit of wide-itis. there for a strange. And well, best of luck. She's tailor-made for Ascot as well, won't she? Be soft ground in that fillies and mares. But Acadian Thunder then, surprisingly, unanimous in the Challenge Cup. Right, let's look at the three at HQ then. Back to you, Jace. Got a fillies handicap up first over 10 furlongs.
I think it's particularly difficult when you go down through all of these. I think that Morafor at the top, she probably put up a career best performance last time. It's Buick, it's Gosden, and I thought that the step up in trip was more the key with her. Now, she did have form early on, but over on the July course, just the way that she moves would be my only problem. She carries her nose a little bit high. She's obviously a bit flighty, but whether she will roll down into the dip and get away with it, if she can latch onto their tails, she's definitely going to come up the other side well. So I should imagine she's towards the top of the market as well. Morafor at the top for John and Thady.
There we are, yeah. Will Buick on board. Frankie, what wins the opener at HQ?
Hopefully Blessed Star, and all connections will be willing her on because her form reads 2-2-3-2-3-2-2-2. She's been going close but hasn't quite managed to win. I'm hoping that changes this weekend. She probably wouldn't want too much rain, but I don't think as much is forecast down in Newmarket as we've got over at Ascot. She's obviously, as I've just mentioned, finishing the places enough times on sort of quicker ground, and I'd say she'd put in a good performance under the popular Sean Dillon Bowen. He's a fairly young jockey, but he's held in high regard by a lot of trainers, and trainer Charlie Johnston as well has been having a great year with some quite nice fillies. So a team that might finally put it together.
Okie dokie. Right, 205, Frankie. Massive field, 26 runners, one of these sales races. But is it obvious half sovereign down there? Interesting, you get the same finishing sixes you do for finishing 10th in here, according to the paper and the prize money ranks. But is it as simple, we said Carl Burke have a good day at Ascot, as half sovereign just goes down and collects the cash?
I don't know, I think maybe a touch short for me at the top, mostly because my eye was drawn to Gel Pepper, who was well fancied up at Donny. And it's hard to say, you can't say for sure, but taking Gel Pepper's price into account, I'd like to be a believer that when he got bumped around sort of mid-race at Donny, that really ruined his race. In a 6 furlong sprint, you want to be relaxed in the mid part of the race to have any sort of finishing kick. And he got a bump, he was off the bridle, then the horses on the front end quickened in front of him, then he was trying to chase the front pack. Maybe he wasn't good enough, but prior to that, he ran well at the Curragh. He was well backed prior to that when he won. He's had the sort of early career that suggests at home they think he's quite good, and I don't know what he is, 14s, 15s, 16s, I think seems way too big considering his race was ruined at Donny. So I'm keeping the faith somewhat. I fancied him at Donny, and I'll go back in again, half because his price, but could work out.
Okie dokie, Gel Pepper. I know you like one at a price, Jason. You usually do. I mean, is the favourite far too short, even though he looks off a low weight and a decent mark?
Yeah, look, half sovereign, 71, 80, 84, now 92, but slots in here off 8 stone 8, the way that the weights are framed, if you like. So 92 is £7 inferior to Gel Pepper. And Gel Pepper was drawn completely on the wrong side over in Naas. The only bit of change they've done this time is they put a tongue tie on to try and get him to settle. Colin Keane gets the call up and he steps up in trip. So he's going to need to settle, but I, along with Frankie, was on board with him at Doncaster and was a little bit disappointed that he couldn't get the job done. Maybe he was too keen, I don't know. He's going to have to settle with the new addition of the tongue tie on. So he's an each-way player. And what about Starlight Time? Absolutely bolted him by 4 wickets at Epsom. Ran a pretty decent final sectional. Comes from Varian, Ray Dawson. They're absolutely flying at the moment, and he's drawn in the right spot. If he's going to get a toe off one, Dawson will be thinking, right, I'll just get on the tail of Colin Keane and get dragged into the race and hopefully finish off. So I think that Starlight Timer is an interesting runner, but Gel Pepper, big each-way player as well.
Okay, couple in a big sales race. We'll stick with you, Jace, for the big one at HQ then. It is the Group 1 Sun Chariot Stakes. 10 fillies and mares make their way to post for Group 1 honours.
Yeah, I mean, what happened with Cinderella's Dream last time? She tried to come from the back of the pack and looked a little bit one-paced over in France, didn't she? You know, you got Spiritual in there, who's probably guaranteed to go up on the front end, and a few that have disappointed. I suppose it's got to be Fallen Angel, hasn't it? You know, my worry is that she did get beat when favourite for the 1000 here. Did she handle the track? Did she go okay? Was a little bit of weakness there. And she looked like she was beat at Leopardstown, didn't she? And then rallied again late on, got going late on. So as much as I talked about Morifort early on, Doyle's most important job is to be on the tail, no more than a length and a half off the leaders as they get to the bottom of the dip, and then he's got a little bit of a climb all the way to the line. So that will be key for her. If she can latch onto the leader's tail to the bottom of the dip, I think she'll come home too strong.
Okay, Fallen Angel looks it could enhance what could looks to be, according to the boys, a good day for Carl Burke. Frankie?
Yeah, Carl Burke could have a cracker, couldn't he? Yeah, it's always easy to back the boys in blue at Newmarket, and Cinderella's Dream obviously has run really right at the track before. I don't know why I can't let Cathedral run at the price she is. She also ran well over in Ireland behind Fallen Angel and wasn't getting to the winner, but her price is a hell of a lot bigger, and back to Newmarket where Cathedral has ran well previously, and as Jace mentioned, Fallen Angel was a beaten favourite prior or earlier on in her career. Could that form be just tightened up a touch? I think so. And are their prices wildly too different for me? I think so too. So it's another sort of each way playing here, because I couldn't be confident on one at the top of the market certainly winning. So I'd have an each way stab with Cathedral, Matt.
Yeah, big day for Rowan Scott, of course, riding in the ammo purple. Right, just switch up north then to Redcar. Fingers crossed this gets the go-ahead, because they're going to get tremendous rain and wind for their big day. Of course, we've got the guys' mistakes and the 2-year-old trophy is the race we're going to look at on ITV for the juveniles. And with conditions, Jason, the wind and the rain, these youngsters, it's a case of who's going to handle them more than anything before they go for this 150,000
Oh,
prize.
stop it. The wind and the rain up north. They say down south you're on about now. And up north they say just bring your big jacket. You'll be fine. Bring your big jacket.
Big
You'll be
coats.
fine. So listen, if they do go, it's very easy to look at Song of the Clyde getting the job done, isn't it? That form is rock solid from York and Doncaster. The one who's been overlooked in the market, and it is a bit of a question mark regarding Trip, I thought Exclamation was massively overlooked in the market. Look, Grace Harris doesn't get too many superstars, wasn't beaten too far in a red hot contest at Doncaster last time, was drawn and was out on the wing the whole way down there. So if Tom East could get Exclamation to just drop it a little bit early on, he could easily run into a good bit of the money. But Song of the Clyde, I think it's a straightforward opportunity, isn't it? He's rated 100. He's well clear on official ratings.
Yeah, Song of the Cloud already landed one of these big pots at the York Ebor meeting. Frankie?
Yeah, I kind of agree. Song of the Clyde's fairly easy to back and not actually the worst price. The other that I half like was Ardisia for Hugo Palmer, and Ashinor has won a couple of races, probably has more racing experience than a lot of the field. Hugo Palmer seems to have a habit of keeping his 2-year-olds quite busy, which I do like. They end up being a little bit tougher and more experienced, obviously, and it comes into the back of a victory last time up at Ayr, last time out. So Ardisia is not a bad each way play, but I did like the favourite. I think it could just be too good.
Okay. Right. Before we get your best bets, anything on the card at Longchamps on Saturday that we like? Obviously, the Cadron looked like it's going to be a 3-horse race and a British benefit, but there's now 8 in there. We've got the Group 1 Royal Alert as well. The Prix Dollar looks a belter. Could be plenty British success, Jace.
Yeah, it could be. Yeah, it brings back one of my worst memories of Art Weekend when going over for the Cadran on double trigger. He was 1-4 for a Group 1 to get the job done. I went round there, hands on the neck, arse in the air, thinking I was going to get it done. Got beat. Not happy when I came back in, mate. 1-4 failure at the top level. That's what one right up the solar plexus that was. So it's not a great race. I will say that Bedtime Story is one of those strange ones. She runs in a Group 2 on the Saturday, stepping up in distance for the first time. She wants, in her mind, 5 furlongs. Yet all about her is stamina. So it's how she settles in the early stages. It's not a massive field. I'd imagine she'd be held up for a late run. Could easily see her being far too good, especially now she steps up an extra quarter mile.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? And she's been placing a French Classic as well this season. Frank, anything on the card Saturday at Longchamps that catches your eye?
I liked her as well. The further she goes, the better she seems to get, and probably could unlock some improvement again. But aside from her, Caballo Del Mar, after his victory in the German ledger, was it?
Yeah,
George
German to Ledger.
a trainer really going places. And with that ownership team as well as Victorious Forever, Victoria Racing, I think he probably could run a big race. He's a smart horse. And I think once you sort of get past a mile 6 and you start to creep into the 2 mile territory, if you're good enough, you can kind of play at all of these staying races. So I'm not too concerned about the real extended 2.5 mile trip. I think he's a nice horse and probably will be better for his victory over in Germany. So yeah, he was one. And Bedtime Story, she was one that caught my eye.
I think he said he's Saudi bound, isn't he, Caballo Del Mar, looking for that Red Sea trophy in February. And so, yeah, stamina aplenty, interested there. And yeah, Bedtime Story, good chance. Is that the Mecca's Angel filly?
Yes. Yeah. Frank or Mecca's Angel. That's right. And but the problem, I wonder what they have had a few different gadgets on her, a little bit of power steering for the rider to get her back. And we've never really sort of seen her switch off and get the job done. Although you did mention she ran well in a French Classic earlier on in the year.
Right. Best bets time, boys. We've covered absolutely plenty this weekend. A super racing weekend. What's the best bet, Jace?
I think Celandine is the wrong price against a bunch of sprinters who are good, and they're regulars, aren't they, in sort of all the heritage handicaps and regulars, and a Quinault, Anaf, Elmon Jed is still climbing, I suppose. They're okay. I think she's got a bit of class on the field.
Okie dokie. Yeah. Ed Walker and Kieran Schumacher team up. They've had a good year as well. Frankie, what would be your best bet on the card, mate?
You won't let me have it, but I'd have back-to-back previous winners of their races, the Cumberland Lodge and the Bengal Stakes, Al Kareem and Apollo 1, I think should both go in races that follow each other.
Okie dokie then. Brilliant. Right, loads covered. Hopefully we'll put the direct...
Double up, mate, for the end of the season.
Say again?
I said I'd get the double up for the end of the season.
Yes, what a way to finish. Of course, a couple of weeks until Champions Weekend. It is going to be a bumper month or so of action towards the back end. Art Weekend, Champions Weekend, Breeders' Cup still to come. Looking forward to that. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and of course, we get notified when we have a new episode covering all of that action that comes ahead. Enjoy the weekend. We love the Prix de l'Arc de Triomphe.